Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Namaste Lake Chapala. It's Tuesday morning. We're so happy to have you join us. We have our family here. Let me turn the computer around so everyone can say hi. Our Namaste family is here. And as you can see, there are many others who are joining us from around the world. This has been one of the great things that have happened over the last few months while people are isolating and locking themselves in. We have opened up and expanded this beautiful expression, this joining, and we're so glad that you could be here with us. So in case you haven't been joining us, we have been moving through this beautiful expression, a book called The Impersonal Life that was originally published in 1914. I know for many, many people, many of you probably, this book has been kind of a foundation or a beginning cornerstone that has opened the door to reveal a new world, to show that there is a whole new way of looking at the world, one that you didn't consider at all in your split or ego mind, but which now seems so real and so vibrant. So we've been looking at that, but in my own time, I thought I was just going to retranslate it into a modern ear, but it's turned out to be much more. Because Joseph Benner, when he had this experience, he was listening deeply to that I am presence within him, which is the same I am presence that's within all of us. And he heard that presence, that I am higher self, speaking intimately into his heart. But because it's the same I am presence that is the only thing that there is, that same presence speaking to you and to me and to each one of us. As I was retranslating it, it just went deeper and deeper and expanded that original conversation. So it's been wonderful for me to share that and to every morning just dive deeper into the heart of this union. And what we're going to hear today is going to be so beautiful and poignant and also maybe a little challenging. So what I'm going to ask is that you just, if you want, close your eyes, breathe deeply, see if you can just bring this in, be willing to allow it to come in deeper than it ever has before. This is going to be talking about the thoughts that you share with God or with that I am presence. The thoughts that you share as opposed to the thoughts that you only think that you're thinking. And that's the difference. Any thought that you think that you're thinking apart from that presence is not. The sooner we realize that and the quicker that we rejoice over that, the better off we're going to be. So let me just begin to read this section. We'll go through it nice and slow. Once again, I'm going to invite you just to take this in. I'm going to go a little slower than normal to let this come at a different and deeper angle. So this is called the real world. It's impossible for you to think on your own or apart from who I am. That's because there's nothing apart from who I am. You'll hear me express this 1,000 different ways because it's the only thing that you need to learn. When you finally learn it, the world you created through the projection of your disoriented thoughts will disappear on its own, simply because it's not in my mind. It's not in the mind of all that is. And it's not in my mind. If it's not in my mind, it's also not in yours. Do you see how simple this is? The only thing you're thinking when your thoughts, you only think you're thinking when your thoughts contradict mine. You only think that you're thinking when your thoughts contradict mine. That's because nothing can contradict my thoughts and still exist. And you still exist, so you only think you're thinking those thoughts. Nothing can contradict my thoughts and still exist. I made you in my image and likeness, which is another way of saying that we are the same. And if we are the same, then what exists within me also exists within you. And what is not in me is not in you. Because I am in you, thinking as you. Because I am in you, thinking as you. The creative power that is within my mind is also in yours. Let's just pause there for a moment, because those statements are so powerful and potent, and they seem to contradict who we have thought ourselves to be, who we've imagined ourselves to be, with our independent attitude. I am who I am, you are who you are. We're separate, we're isolated. Sometimes I'm going to be better than you, sometimes you're going to be better than me. But we certainly are thinking different thoughts, because the thoughts that I'm thinking are in here, and the thoughts that you're thinking are in there. And the thoughts that God is thinking, maybe they're everywhere. I don't know. We play all these games to get around the single teaching that what I seem to be thinking apart from the divine, I am not. Because it's impossible. That's all this is trying to get us to understand, is that it's impossible. And the sooner you realize, the more you can relax into the only true thoughts which you are thinking, which are the thoughts and the reality that you share with the I am presence. That's why it's called the I am presence, because it is everything. I am that. And just like that name, when we look at the whole name, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh, I am that I am. This is a literal conversation with that I am presence. I begin by saying, I am that. And then I listen for the answer. And what is the answer? I am. I am that. I am. That's why that comma or that code is so important. Because it's me acknowledging that everything that we've heard here is true, that the only thoughts I'm really thinking are the thoughts that I'm sharing with God. Everything else I'm imagining, and I've been imagining a whole lot for a really long time. And it's time now to release that and to fall back and to relax and to rest in God. Let's go a little further. The world you see with your eyes is not the real world, because you tried to create it apart or without me. You cannot create anything apart from who I am, for that is who you are as well. You cannot create anything apart from who I am, for that is who you are as well. The attempt to do so is the attempt to create apart from yourself. To create apart from yourself, because we are the same. What is the same can never be separated and remain real. That's the key. What is the same can never be separated and remain real. But you have been imbued with a powerful imagination, powerful enough to imagine the impossible and make it seem real. There we go. Now we're getting to the heart of our dilemma. But imagined reality can never be real, because it exists outside the boundary of what is true. Imagined reality can never be real, because it exists outside the boundary of what is true. I am what is true, and nothing apart from that exists. Do you feel these statements? They're like bullets right to the center, or arrows right to the center of that target, right in the center. That one line, I am what is true, and nothing apart from me exists. If you could just breathe that in, let all of your defenses down, and let that be true in your mind, just as it is true in reality. Everything that you have imagined that has seemed to separate you from reality would fall apart. And yet that tension that we talked about yesterday is still holding it all together just for a moment longer. That final desire to be right. The final desire to be right. And it's not that you've been wrong, it's that you've tried to be nothing. In imagining yourself as apart from the divine, you've literally tried to be nothing. So once again, that last sentence, so powerful. I am what is true, and nothing apart from that exists. And we could put it at the end of that, herein lies the peace of God. Because that's what it sounds like. As John Mundy said yesterday, this could just as easily be in A Course in Miracles, because the I am presence is going to say the same thing to you over and over and over, whether it's that same Christed consciousness that speaks to us through A Course in Miracles or through other sources, or it's this I am presence. Whatever it calls itself, it's still the real and the reality of you. The real and the reality of you, speaking to you, reminding you that it's time to go home. It's time to open up your eyes. Okay, let's move forward. If I am real, then you must be real as well. If my thoughts are true, then yours must also be true. Of this, you have no choice. You exist through and as me, just as I exist through and as you. Wow. God, or the divine, or that I am impulse exists through and as you, just as much as you exist through and as it. That, if that's not a statement of wholeness and oneness, I don't know what is. What extends from the source does not leave the source, and that's why we are the same. But be very clear, I'm not referring to the thoughts that you think, since they are nothing at all. You have created a world where nothing is constant, and yet everything in heaven is constant. Even your desires are inconstant. Look around yourself and you'll see that it's true. You want one thing one moment and something else a moment later. When you come to the point where you want only one thing, that which you are, when you want yourself, when you want the truth, when you want to know that everything you're hearing here is a fact, when you really want that, then it will appear before you simply because it was never hidden. You were hidden, but now you are revealed because you've chosen not to hide. This reminds me a little bit of one of the lessons in the art of spiritual peacemaking, where it says it's like you lost something that you dearly love inside your house, but you spend all of your time searching for it in the yard outside. Let's say that there's a ring that maybe you've loved. It was maybe handed down to you from your parent or your grandparent, and you can't find it. You lost it somewhere inside the house, but instead of looking for it where it is, you spend all your time looking for it outside yourself. And you search for days you search. And of course you never find it because you're looking for it where it is not. And yet the moment you go back inside and give up the search, the moment you stop looking and just sit down in the chair, you look next to you and there it is. It was never hidden. You were just looking for it where it wasn't, outside yourself. Just as you've been looking for who you really are outside you. Wow. Did you hear that? You've been looking for who you really are outside of you, outside of the I am. And that is what has caused you all the pain and suffering, literally in the universe. And the moment you give up the search and just go back inside and sit down, who you really are will appear before you instantly and automatically because you were never lost. You've never been lost, except in your imagination. Now it's time to give that up. So, that's what we're here to do. Surrender, give up, go back inside, sit down, and to see what has always been true. So Vicki, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you for a moment and see what love and insight you're going to be here to share.
Whoops, can you hear me? Am I on, Jimmy?
We can hear
Okay.
you, but there you are.
There I am. So Jimmy, I'd like to, let's bring this to an experience right now. Let's join in a holy moment of resting in that I am. And I want to invite everyone to accompany one of our dear brothers across this threshold of seeming reality into reality. So some of you know Paul Goudreau, a dear brother of ours from Boston who lived in Wisconsin for years. And at this very moment, he is literally resting himself right into the full awareness of who he is, of I am. And I'd like to invite you all to join me and rest in that presence, because that presence is what we are, and it certainly is eternal. And the only way to honor it is by celebrating it, by resting in it and celebrating it and letting every other thought go, because all of those other thoughts are not the true thoughts of I am. The true thoughts of I am are holy, holy oneness, wholeness, joy, and celebration. Polly has been surrounded fully for the last 6 months, and actually almost a year, by brothers who took care of him 24/7. And in their brotherhood and love, they saw nothing but the living Christ. And every day for everyone has been a celebration that is fulfilling itself in this very moment that we're speaking, in this very hour. So I wanted to ask you to join with me as we rest in a simple prayer of gratitude and recognition that, dear Holy Father, dear God, thank you for the truths that we all are, that we share. Thank you that we can witness that reality through all these forms, when seeming bodies leave or pass, and seeming mind and heart open to this one I am consciousness, to this consciousness that is eternal, loving, and fully joyous. Because we pass with one another as we hold one another in our hearts, in our awareness, and see only that presence. As we do this now, we open to this reality in a way that is deeper than we've ever felt in this moment now, as this moment now is the fullness of I am. As we stand beside our brother Paul and one another in the recognition of life that never ends, that is eternal, that explodes with joy at the sound of I am, the sound of love, the sound of our holy name. Amen. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. Please extend our blessing and love to Paulie as well. He's a dear brother. He's taken a big step, and yet it's not a step at all, is it? It's really just stepping into where we've always been. We could say, well, stepping into heaven. Okay, you've always been there. You've never left. That's all this teaching is saying. You never left heaven. Isn't that something to rejoice in? Isn't that something just to be so grateful for? And now you realize that. Now you understand that, and now you can express that. And the more you express it, the more you become the source of that same experience, the more real it becomes. So whether it be just holding Paulie as he makes that transition, or holding a brother or sister, whether we're holding them in our arms or we're being socially distant and holding them in our hearts, it's still holding what is true and allowing that truth to penetrate all of these shadowy illusions that we've held on to for some odd reason, thinking that it gave us something that we wanted. Let's face it, it never did. It never did. The only thing that's giving us what we really want is what I am right now. The more we relax into that, the more we allow that to be whole and true, the more we simply choose to see what has always been there. So I find myself, as I'm as I'm writing this down or sharing it here, there's a part of me that says, do it real slow because we really want them to get this one. And even that is silly, because the only one who needs to get this is me. And if we all say that, if we all realize that there's only one that needs to be released from those chains, and it's me, it's the expression of where this is right now, then I won't try and get you to get anything. I won't try and help you to release anything. I'll just simply love you exactly where you are. And then I am released. And yet I feel like this is important it's like flicking on a light switch. Now we can see what's in the room. It was dark and we would bump into things and we wouldn't know what was what, but now we can see and we can begin to clear out all of those things that we no longer need, all of those thoughts and ideas and desires, until we find ourselves just resting in this beautiful, beautiful place where we've always been, heaven. So thank you, Vicki. That was beautiful. Give her love to Polly.
I will.
And let's
Jimmy,
reach out and see. Yes.
I want to tell you that the last conversation the other day that I had with Polly was exactly that. Resting in the love of God and the heaven that is already present in his awareness. And it was a beautiful, simple call. And he has really just let everything go and resting into that. So you really said it just as he was feeling it. Thank you.
Well, why don't we just send Polly some love, each one of us from wherever we are. Is he in Wisconsin or is he in Boston, Vicki?
No, he's with the brothers in Wisconsin, Jimmy, in the most beautiful care you can ever imagine on earth. Heavenly care, like hosts of angels around him. Okay, good. Well, why don't we send all our love to Polly? Okay, good. Here we go. Polly. Blessings. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the Zoom room that would like to share anything? Deborah, go right ahead.
I'm really glad you keep sharing these words, because they so exemplify the experience of I am. And I had an experience this morning of waking up and really knowing that joy was all there was, or I am is all there is. And I simply felt joy. And then there was this movement to share that joy. And so turns out 3 people, it's their birthday today. So I shared love with them. And what I am seeing is when I'm not feeling that, I'm feeling nothing. And I can't even move now. I am at a point in this human body where my physical body actually stops being able to move if I'm not feeling light and joy. I get very deep pains. And the weird thing is, as soon as I feel this again, which is the only thing that I am, they go away. So I'm also realizing the human brain doesn't even seem to work anymore when I'm outside of this feeling. So what is awesome about what you keep doing is you keep saying the truth in many different ways. It doesn't matter. And we get to keep hearing that. And that's what resonates. And I know that's why all of us keep coming to hear and join, even when we're not feeling it. So it's fun to join when I'm feeling it, because then it's like, whoa, of course. How could I be feeling anything but I am? And anything other than that is nothing. So I think it makes, I don't know if it makes sense, but I really thank you. It's fun. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. It may not make sense on the identity level, but what makes sense on the identity level does not make sense at all on the soul level. Everything we're sharing here in these sessions makes total sense on the soul level. And that's why you feel that energy. That's why you feel that lightness and that light. But on an ego level, there's that part of us saying, oh, come on, really? Yes, really, really, this is true. Don't you see how happy it's making you? Don't you see how light it's making you feel? Just why judge that? Why not just go into that? Because it's so beautiful. So thank you, Deborah. I think I saw Linda had her hand up as well. Go right ahead, Linda.
Hi. Well, I was one of the ones that got blessed this morning with a happy birthday. And the message that came to me this morning is like, I've been on this planet for 66 years and I've been hiding. And I can't do that anymore. I have to be who I am. And I'm here to help support everyone to be who they are because we're in this holy oneness. And I feel like we've been duped, so to speak, into believing that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not worthy enough, and that we have to give our control to other people. And it's like every cell in my being now resonates with, well, you should just be able to be alive. You shouldn't have to pay for it. You shouldn't have to earn it. You should be able to just enjoy life. And I'm here just to enjoy life and to support your enjoyment of life because we're all one. And encourage people to share their gifts, whether it be music or speaking or just smiling at someone. They're all gifts and we're all precious and we're all powerful beings. And it's true. You do feel an increase in joy. You do feel this love expanding. It does not contract. It can only expand. And there's a joy in that. And it's not like a happy joy. It's more like a peaceful joy, a centering joy, a calming joy. And I wish that for everyone. So thank you for letting me share.
And happy birthday. Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? How about one more here in our Zoom call? Yes, go ahead, Linda.
Okay. I'm finding at this time this love.
Everyone's saying you love. Oh, look who it is.
Thank you. This love that we all are, this I am present. I'm finding during this time, it is coming just to restore us to that love, to that we are, to a deeper level that I have ever felt before. This, it's a returning to that who we've always been, but that restoration is dropping into me, and it's a beautiful I am presence of that love that I've always been and haven't always remembered. So it's a restoring feeling for me. I don't know, feeling isn't the right word, but that's what I'm experiencing at this time. And thank you, James, for your commitment to this. We love you.
Thank you, dear.
And all that are there at Namaste.
Where are you guys right now?
In Canada, in Lindsay, Ontario. And it's been well over 30 degrees. Yesterday was 37. Oh my goodness. It's very hot here. Unusual for Canada.
I had to translate that to all of the Americans. I said, that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
Oh, yeah. Right. Thank you, James. Thank you for all that you're doing. We love meeting with you each day and hearing the truth that sets us free to be the I am presence. Thank you.
And I love looking at the words that are right behind you. The sunshine face. I don't know what that means. You can't see it.
It's the Irish blessing. Yeah. The blessing. Thank you for blessing us.
Thank you, dear. Good to see both of you. All
Thank
right, let's
you.
see if there's anyone here at Namaste. Anybody want to share anything? Anyone feeling inspired? Yeah, come on up, Jeff.
In the hi John, in this Zoom culture, is becoming increasingly obvious that that image is not who I am. None of these images are who we are, especially with the full backgrounds on them. And we are has nothing to do with images, and it's this perfect divine presence that is the other. It's inward rather than outward. And that's it.
There you go. Simple and sweet. Yes, come on up.
Well, no, I have a request of you, Jimmy.
What's that?
I wonder, with your beautiful voice, I know you didn't bring an instrument, would you lead us in today's lesson? The piece of
Oh yeah, we could end with that, and we could actually sing that and share that with the music. Before we do it, anyone else want to share anything? Yes, come on up, Lori. I think I have it here.
Today's lesson, "The peace of God is shining in me now," contains the single best line for me in the Course in Miracles, which is, "Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all." So when I came to the Course and I saw that I didn't have to go through 1,000 more lifetimes to wake up, the Course is it for me.
I fully agree, Lori. That is one of my favorite lines as well. First of all, it's one of my favorite lessons. It is the first lesson that I put to music when I decided to put them all to music. It's probably my favorite one. But that one line, enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. That says it all, doesn't it? So let me see if I can find that here. And I thought I had the Course in Miracles songs on my computer. Let me look one more place. And if not, we'll just sing it together. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's going to need to download from the cloud for a moment, so it's going to happen very quick. Okay, good. So why don't we just come together and celebrate this moment by realizing that the peace of God is shining in me and you, and it's the same right now in this moment, that light is always shining, but we put a bushel basket over it until now. We've tried to hide or deny that light, and in doing so, we have not acknowledged the truth of who we are, that wholeness, that enlightenment. And now we choose to acknowledge and to live only from that space. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to play this and we can sing it together, and this will be our closing prayer. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. That was a different song. Oh, here it is. Okay. That was a fun one too. We could do that another time. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. Here we go. Can you guys on Zoom hear that? Shining in me now, the peace of God. Shining in me now, the peace of God. Shining in me now, the peace of God is shining in the peace of God, shining in me now. The peace of God, shining in me now. The peace of God, shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God 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 is shining in me now. So why wait for heaven when you're only closing your eyes? Time to open them and see what has always been true. Just remember that enlightenment doesn't mean that you change. Nothing changes. Enlightenment is just a recognition of that which never changes. The only truth that never changes, which is wholly and complete within you right now. That the light is shining in this very moment. Shining in me now, 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 shining in me now. The peace of God 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 is shining in me now. The peace of God 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 is shining in me now. The peace of God 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 is shining in me now. And so it is. So my brothers and sisters, let your light shine. Don't hide it anymore. Don't put a bushel basket over it, but light it like a fire on a hill so that all can see it and be inspired. And in doing so, let their light shine bright, because it's happening right now. The fullness of your I am presence is being revealed right now. All you need to do is to say yes. All you need to do is to allow it to break through all of those shadows, and you'll find that you've never really left heaven at all. So, namaste. We love you. See you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.